Hey guys, thanks. Where's the man of the hour? This might be an interesting one for you to read, Mike. You can't hear you, babe. I know.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a good script.
There's a lot going on.
The first time I heard it, I didn't know that he meant an actual pig. I thought that was slang.
What is it? It's not a pig? It's an actual
No,
pig, right?
yeah, it's an actual pig, but I'm saying I thought it was slang when I first heard it.
Oh,
I
like
thought he was
top or
talking
something?
about, yeah.
Oh, that's
Well, my character's second line does make the joke because you are referring to, did I catch an actual pig? And then I say, we've actually secured some genetic material. Tomorrow you're going to have to compare it to its DNA to every pig registered in the police database.
Is that what you mean?
Oh,
Is
yeah.
that what
That one is the.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Yeah.
is this? Yeah, I was trying to figure that out. Okay, let's go right into one more.
Okay.
Take a second now. Give yourself a moment before you begin.
Hey, did you catch it yet?
Catch what?
The pig. Haven't you seen the videos?
Oh, the pig. Yeah, I've got a lead. We've actually secured some genetic material. So tomorrow you're going to have to compare its DNA to every pig registered in the police database.
Always at your disposal.
In any case, I'm not out of action.
Meaning?
You know, I was relieved of the Alice project, right? And given enforced leave.
Yeah.
You know why?
I thought that's what you were going to tell me.
I don't even know.
You don't know? They didn't explain why?
No.
I need another glass of wine.
Listen, Philip, all the data relating to the Alice project has been deleted. Right? I did the initial research. None of that exists anymore. None of the files, protocols, any of the documents, they've all vanished. Someone probably hacked in, probably not just to my computer, but the entire system. And now, I mean, the public prosecutor's playing along, and I'd like to know why.
I don't blame you.
You've got to help me. Look, I'm sorry about what I said earlier, but I'm being quite serious, right? The entire project has disappeared in the thin air, and if there's anyone that can trace how that happened and who did it, it's you. I mean, you're in charge of the police force's entire data security system. You've got to find this loophole, wherever it is.
Yeah, and how would I justify doing that? I can't do freelance, and I can't officially embark on a search like this without a valid reason. Especially if it's against the public prosecutor's orders.
You know the public prosecutor's orders? No, so there. You don't need a reason, just do it.
Look, it's far too complicated to explain to you how the central repository works. With all the hoops and paperwork.
You don't have to do it officially. Okay, my question is not whether you'd get authorization, but whether you could do it.
It will be against the law.
Philip, a murder is a criminal offense that the public prosecutor's office is legally obligated to prosecute. Now, if they fail to do this and instead cover it up, then they have broken the law. Now, if you help me, and if we're successful, then we have completed the law.
Look, all right then. But look, if anything gets out, you've been playing around on your computer while on leave, all right?
Okay.
Shit, I was muted. I said really nice. I like that a lot. Only suggestion on this one is just maybe consider the murder part coming to a whisper. Just consider it. You don't have to do it, but just consider it. I like that a lot. Of the two that I've seen, I really dig this one. And I also really like Mike with you in this one. That'd be a fun one to have both of y'all do. Good
Yeah.
choice. Y'all are making some good choices. Man, I would love to get this one taped for you before you leave.
Me too. We
I would
should.
love to shoot it, man. I was waiting for you to contact me about shooting it, but you
I know
and guess what?
I've got a hectic schedule. I'm gonna be out of town now.
Oh,
from,
excuse me. Okay, I'll get my people to get with your people.
I'm just saying, I'm gonna be out of town now from the 16th to the 23rd, and then I might be out of town from the 24th to the 28th, which then I just come back and then.
So the 20, oh yeah, you turn around and leave. And then the 28th is the
I
end of the
know.
month, and then you're March. Well, I mean, I really would have liked, this would be a fun one to tape, and it would be, or I mean, to actually record, and it would be so easy. Because it's
Yeah,
just a
I
little
think
kind of-
so.
This would be such an easy one to record. It'd be cool to put Mike in it with you.
Yeah.
And then maybe Lydia in the other one. But anyway, we can dream. Yeah, work on this one and then reach out to me.
Okay.
Let's figure something else. Nice job. I really like that script. It works very well for you. Let's hop over to Yeti, and then we'll hop over to Monique, and then that'll be it for the day. So Yeti, you're reading with,
Me.
okay. You ready, ma'am? There she is. Yeah, unpin you. There you go. How are you? I haven't seen you. I feel like I haven't seen you forever.
I'm so tired.
Aw. All right.
Work's been kicking my butt, but I'm here.
Good. Well, I'm glad that you're there and that you're good. Good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
All right, y'all. Mike, are you ready?
Mm-hmm. What happened in there?
She stole my pad. That's a felony. She's been lying us from the very beginning.
Of course she has. Lying, manipulating, behaving recklessly with no regard for herself or others.
Exactly.
No, not exactly. Look, off the top of my head, probably a sociopath. But that makes your job exploring that and trying to help her, not punish her.
But all she's been doing from the very beginning is manipulate us and waste our time.
Because she's mentally ill.
No, it's because people like you let her.
People like me?
Yes, you enable them. You make excuses. You give out psychiatric nurses so they're not accountable for their actions, just like you did for that guy that shot you. Oh, that's it.
Oh, that's it. I was waiting for more, girl. Okay, let's
It's
go
super
right
short.
into another one. Let me get you to enunciate.
Yeah, it's because, okay, so you know how English is not my first language?
Yes.
I can't say psychiatric.
Psychiatric?
So that's why I said it so fast, because I was like, I'm just going to say it fast because.
Okay, and so that's okay. Like Hispanics, that's how we are. Sometimes we just start to speak really, really fast in English. It's almost like, let me just get through with this and hopefully they'll understand. But you definitely need to enunciate. So slow it down a little.
Am I saying that word right though?
I didn't even hear it. That's why I'm saying slow it down and enunciate.
Wait, can you say it?
What's the psychiatric?
Psychiatric.
Psychiatric, yeah. So just slow down right there where you get really intense with him.
Yeah.
A little bit. Don't overdo it, but let's just
Not too slow.
right into another one, okay?
Okay.
What happened in there?
She stole my pad. That's a felony. She's been lying us from the very beginning.
Of course she has. She's lying, manipulating, behaving recklessly with no regard for herself or others.
Exactly.
I mean, not exactly. Look, off the top of my head, she's probably a sociopath. But look, that makes your job exploring that and trying to help her, not punish her.
But all she's been doing from the very beginning is manipulate us and waste our time.
Because she's mentally ill.
No, it's because people like you let her.
People like me?
Yes, you enable, you make excuses, you build out psychiatric diagnosis so that no one is accountable for their actions, just like you did for that guy that shot you.
So let me see. Okay, I like the scene. We're jumping right into the intensity of it. We're jumping right into the intensity of it, right? So there's not really any buildup. Is there more to this scene at all before this happens?
No, before it's like it was a whole other scene. It's not where they were at currently.
Okay, can you tell me a little bit about it?
So basically the doctor, he is training Reese. So they're at the hospital, and there was this one lady that started lying and saying that she had all these other like diseases, but she didn't. So she started because she's addicted to like several drugs. So basically Reese caught the lady stealing her pad and stealing several medicines. So she like just called her out and just
Yeah.
lost it. But obviously as a doctor, you're not supposed to be doing
Right.
that. And that's why she just stepped out. And then this scene is Reese is in the like in the lobby just trying to cool down, and then
Right.
the doctor will go.
So, I mean, okay, so then the fact being worked up is justified. I don't want to take that away from you at all. I think the only thing that the thing that needs to be tweaked is, again, the enunciation.
Mhm.
So let's remove the emotion from it, and let me get you to just read the scene with Mike.
Okay.
Don't read it, but you know what I mean. Don't like say. Do you have it memorized?
I just started working on it today, but I think I do.
see. Okay. Well, just read it with Mike. So let's
Okay.
just. There's a read through.
So what happened in there?
She stole my pad. That's a felony. She's been
Really?
lying to us from the very beginning.
Yeah, I told you.
Of course she has. Lying, manipulating, behaving recklessly with no regard for herself or others.
Exactly.
I mean, not exactly. She's probably a sociopath off the top of my head, but look, that makes your job exploring that and trying to help her, not punish her.
But all she's been doing since she got here was manipulate us and waste our time.
Because she's mentally ill.
No, it's because people like you let her.
People like me?
Yes, you enable, you make excuses, you give out psychiatric diagnosis so no one has to be held accountable for their actions.
Stop.
Just like you did for that guy that shot you.
Stop right there, Mama. Let me get you to go back. Mike, cue her in. I don't want you to get worked up or emotional at all. I just want you to say the lines. It's okay, babe. Mike, please.
Okay. Of course she has. Lying, manipulating, behaving recklessly with no regard for herself or others.
Exactly.
I mean, not exactly. Look, off the top of my head, she's probably a sociopath. But look, that just makes your job exploring that and trying to help her, not punish her.
But all she's been doing from the very beginning is
Right.
waste our time and
Because she's
manipulate us.
Because she's mentally ill.
No, it's because people like you let her.
People like me?
Yes, you enable them. You make excuses. You give out psychiatric diagnosis so no one is accountable for their actions, just like you did for that guy that shot you.
You guys did a great job. Great job.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really hard for me to slow down because I normally talk really fast like I'm talking right now. So it's
only when you get to that psychiatric word, it gets you.
it's
every
because it's hard for me to say it.
time. Gets you
Start
every-
with the very first start with the very first line, babe, right after that big chunk right there where she gets passionate. Let me hear you say it or read it.
Just goes me?
Yes, please.
Yes, you enable, you make excuses, you give out psychiatric diagnosis so that no one is held
You're
accountable.
right
for their
there.
actions.
I see where it is. You give out psychiatric diagnosis. It's okay for you to put pauses. This applies to everybody. It's okay for y'all to put pauses or breaks in the dialogue, even if there's not a comma or a punctuation mark there, right? So give me the first line, just the very first line, the entire thing.
Yes, you enable, you make excuses, and you give out psychiatric diagnosis so that no one is. It's because it's just one long sentence.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
So that no one is held
yes,
accountable for
you
making
enable,
actions,
okay.
just like you did for that guy that shot you.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just finishing it. Sorry.
So, okay, let me, let's see if I can do this here. I'm sorry. My son's here. Hang on, let me close
Yeah,
it.
that's fine.
I'm sorry. He's so spoiled. Okay. Yes. You give out psychiatric diagnosis.
You make excuses and you get. Wait, no. Oh. Yes, yes, you enable, you make excuses, you
There
give
we
out
go.
psychiatric diagnosis.
Okay, so, because I'm trying to memorize this as you say it. Yes, yes, you enable, you make excuses, you give out psychiatric diagnosis. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, and then I want you to read until you get to a period or an exclamation point.
So that no one is held accountable for their actions, just like you did for that guy that shot you.
That's the period?
Mhm.
Okay, so yes, yes, you enable, you give excuses, you give out psychiatric diagnosis so that no one, what's next?
Has to be held accountable
So
for
that
their
no one
actions.
has to be held accountable, just like the guy that shot you?
Yeah.
It's probably
Yes.
good to pause after the actions. I feel like
Yeah,
Mhm.
after
so,
you say actions, like, and it's like you see, and then it's like just like the guy that shot you.
for sure.
You know what I mean?
That's, yeah. So obviously that's an entire sentence. And if we were reading out of a book in school, we would pause right at the period or the exclamation point. But it's okay for us to put pauses in our, speech, like what I just did, because that's the normal speech pattern. So in this situation, I think that you should actually do it because it'll also help you. And
Yeah.
by the way, this isn't just you. This has happened to me a lot too. Whenever you have dialogue that's wordy, that'll happen. And so it's just about finding the right place to put a break. So
Okay.
yes, yes, you make excuses. You
Enable.
okay, yes, yes, you enable. You make excuses. You give out psychiatric diagnosis. What's next?
So that no one has to be held
You
accountable.
give out psychiatric diagnosis so that no one has to be accountable. Just like the guy that shot you. It's okay to slow it down like that, and you won't lose the passion, right?
Mhm.
And we'll be able to understand you. So it's okay. It's okay to do that when there's so much going on in a sentence. Anybody can get caught up in that. It becomes a tongue twister. So going back again to playing it realistically, think about the point that she's trying to make. Obviously, there's a reference to somebody that shot this guy. She's got an issue with the fact that this doctor didn't do something about it. I don't know. I don't care about the story. It's not relevant. That's
Mhm.
just part of it. The other part is you enable, you give excuses. So when this is how you figure this out, how you figure out the spacing. When you're saying these things to a person, right? All of us everybody is playing this character now. I want everybody to think about this. We're saying this to somebody. These are not nice things to say. As you say each thing to them, what are you doing as you're looking at them? As you say the first thing to them, you enable,
Reprochando, how do you say that in Spanish? In English?
huh?
Reprochando?
Reprochando, sí.
Yeah.
You're complaining to somebody. You're telling them that they did something wrong. When you spit that first one out, okay, in this one sentence, she doesn't just accuse him of one thing. She accuses him of 3 or 4, right? So she's trying to what? What is she trying to do? Whenever you say something to somebody, you accuse them of something. What is it that you're trying to do? What are you trying to get from them?
Response.
Exactly. So that first thing that you say is you enable and you watch. You make excuses. You still not getting it. And now you go for the jugular. You give out psychiatric diagnosis so that nobody will be held accountable, just like the guy that shot you. Do you see how it's okay to break it up? And there's a justification for breaking it up because there must be a reason for every single thing that we say and do in front of the camera. It has to be justified for our character. If it's not, then we're just up there trying to get attention. And that's a hit or miss way to start a career.
Mhm.
So this woman has a point to make and she's got a bone to pick with him. And so the good thing is that it gives Yeti an excuse to slow down, to break the sentence up and still let it be powerful and effective. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Do you? So then for you, you're going to go, yes, yes, you enable.
Excuses.
Yeah. So the first thing you do is you say, you enable. And he just kind of stares at you. Now you say, you make excuses. And he still stares at you. So there's your other pause. So now you go for the jugular. You say, you make look, watch me. Because I do this when I'm like upset with people. I'll break it down like I'm speaking to a child. and that's all part of the thing, right? You make psychiatric diagnosis so that no one will be held accountable, just like the guy that shot you. Do you see how I just took that sentence and broke it down and it was still effective
Mhm.
instead of blowing through it? And now you have an excuse to be able to take your time saying the damn thing.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? The
Yeah.
only way that we're able to do that though is if you find a realistic justification for why you're doing it, which takes us back to the whole approach that you guys need to be taking to acting, which is understanding what's happening for your character, what they're feeling, and why they're motivated to say what they're saying. Okay.
Mhm.
So you're trying to make a point to this guy, and maybe it's patronizing. Maybe you're, you know, es un baboso, you know, y le estás hablando despacio porque mira lo que estás haciendo, güey. You know what I mean? So that's why she, at that moment, she goes psychiatric diagnosis. So there's an emphasis there at that point. Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
So let's try that where you slow it down a little.
Okay.
Do you want to go from the top, or do you want her
No,
to
I'd like
start
to just
there?
hear that line, babe.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yes, yes, you enable. You make excuses. You give out psychiatric diagnosis. So
No,
one is
slower.
No, slower. Okay.
Yeah, slower. Psychiatric, because you
Psychiatric diagnosis.
there like that. You give out psychiatric diagnosis.
Okay.
So the blah, 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 blah.
Yes, yes, you enable. You make excuses. You give out psychiatric diagnosis so that no one is held accountable for their actions, just like you did for the guy that shot you.
Okay, so you're racing to the end of the sentence, just like you did for the guy that shot you. I want for you to, instead of try to run away from psychiatric diagnosis, I want for you to pay attention to it. I want you to take it head on, and I want you to slow it down and break it down even more.
Even more? Okay.
Just do this. Psychiatric diagnosis. Try it
Psychiatric diagnosis.
again. Psychiatric diagnosis.
Psychiatric diagnosis.
Again.
I feel like I'm saying it wrong.
No.
Psychiatric diagnosis.
Again.
Psychiatric diagnosis.
Last time.
Psychiatric diagnosis.
Good. By the way, whenever something like that doesn't get stuck in your head, you guys probably already know this, but you say something 3 times and something about that triggers the brain to remember it. I do it with my kids. I do it with myself all the time. So psychiatric diagnosis. I want everybody to go through and give me their version of that sentence, breaking it down, or that phrase, breaking it down the way that I just did. We'll start with Mike because you're at the top. If you were emphasizing this to me, you give out psychiatric diagnosis, Mike.
You give out psychiatric diagnosis.
Good. Joshua. Joshua disappeared. Oh, there you go.
No, I'm here.
Okay.
You give out psychiatric diagnosis.
I want you to break it down even more. We're emphasizing. Do you get it? These are psychiatric diagnoses. Give it to me like that.
Right. So these are psychiatric diagnoses.
Good. There's patronizing. You see how it's patronizing? It borders on patronizing. Nick, are you there?
Yeah. Is my video turning on?
No.
There we go.
Uh,
You give out psychiatric diagnosis.
Good. Give me another one.
You give out psychiatric diagnosis.
Good. Yeah. Good. Yeah. And I mean, you know, everybody's got their own take on it, but the main thing is I want Yeti to hear how it's coming out of everybody else. So, because I want you to understand that it's normal for you to do that, because I don't want you to approach this like, okay, I have an accent. English isn't my first language. I don't know how to say this word. I'm going to mess it up. No, get that out of your head. We're problem solvers, and we figure out a way to approach it that makes sense. And this approach makes sense. Monique, psychiatric diagnosis.
You give out psychiatric diagnosis.
Good. Lydia, give me one with whatever.
So before I do that, I just want to point out it's diagnoses.
Is it diagnoses? Okay, girl, she just made it more complicated. Okay, no, that's okay. But
That means it's
listen,
multiple
I already
diagnosis.
had this in my head.
I know.
It's okay.
I'm like,
It's okay.
let's get
That's
through
what- Hey, I gotta help
psychiatric.
you out. English isn't your first language. I'm gonna help you, baby. Like,
Yeah, just saying. We're trying to get psychiatric. Now we got to get diagnosis. Holy shit! No, I'm kidding. Give it. Let
diagnoses.
let me hear it, babe.
Give out psychiatric diagnoses.
Good. And that one actually is good for you with Grey's Anatomy, right?
Yeah.
So now, yes, you enable, you make excuse, you give out psychiatric diagnoses so that blah 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 aren't accountable. Da 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 da. Okay, now give me that line real quick.
Yes, you enable. You make excuses. You give out psychiatric diagnoses so that no one is held accountable for their actions, just like you did for that guy that shot you.
See? And it sounded good. All right, let me get you to do one run through of the scene. Good job.
Thank you. Where's Mike?
You ready?
Yeah, whenever you're ready.
What happened in there?
She stole my pad. That's a felony. She's been lying to us from the very start.
Of course she has. Lying, manipulating, behaving recklessly with no regard for herself or others.
Exactly.
I mean, not exactly. I mean, off the top of my head, she's probably a sociopath. But look, that just makes your job exploring that and trying to help her, not punish her.
But she's been lying to us from the very beginning. She's been manipulating us and wasting our time.
Because she's mentally ill.
No, it's because people like you let her.
People like me.
Yes, you enable, you make excuses, you give out psychotic diagnosis so no one is held accountable for their actions, just like you did for that guy that shot you.
Was that it?
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
So, Yeti, we got
I'm
halfway
psychotic.
there. Halfway there. See, it's the Hispanic in you, because when we get mad, we don't have a get the hell out of our way. We're like, and then we just, I know, because I'm like that too. So you're jumping, like you're jumping headfirst into, the emotion and the intensity, which is great. You have that encapsulated, but especially on something like this, I know I tell you guys that, things don't have to be word for word, unless it's a medical show,
Yeah.
or you know what I mean?
Obviously.
So, but you got to get, that terminology is very important. You're rushing into it. And so by the time you get to that term, part of your brain wants to go slow and the other part of your brain wants to get the hell out of there. So you said psychotic, I think, or something like this, right? Did y'all hear that, or is it just me?
Yeah, she said psychotic.
Psychotic, yeah,
Psychotic.
psychotic. So psychiatric diagnosis.
Psychiatric diagnosis.
Don't be afraid to take your time on it.
Okay,
Don't be afraid to-
tomorrow I'm gonna say that word right.
I know you will. But yeah, I would say your homework is to take that whole thing and break. It's a very short scene.
Yeah.
Take every line, every speech that you have and slow it down this way.
Okay.
Even though you're upset, you can still take your time in speaking the words. Do you see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So instead of like getting upset, even though you're upset, you can still take your time speaking the words. That's what you're doing, right? So I'm still doing all of this, and you can tell that I'm flustered or whatever, but I'm speaking really fast. What I want you to do is still be upset, but take your time speaking the words. And actually in doing that, there's almost more power in your performance.
Yeah.
I had a very bad problem. Sometimes when I'm nervous, it comes back, where I have a very bad problem with blowing through lines like that too. And the thing is, you cheat yourself of screen time and you miss moments that could really serve you well, because you're in a hurry to get out of the scene. So I think if it's one thing, go ahead.
I feel like for me, it's not really like I'm in a hurry to get out of it. It's just like, it just comes so naturally to me. And even though, like, even now I'm trying to calm
I
down,
know, I can see, yeah.
and I talk so fast.
Yeah.
So it just comes naturally to me just to like
Yeah.
speak super fast.
Yeah.
Which
I mean,
shouldn't, 'cause it's not
I
good,
think that really probably at the heart of a lot of the things that that like we notice, and maybe even that Sarah noticed, I think that the root of a lot of that stuff is the rate of speed with which you speak.
Mm-hmm.
Because the other thing is that whenever you're speaking really quickly the way that we do, obviously you're, you think in Spanish or whatever you're trying to translate to English, right? And then you're speaking the words. When you speak really quickly, that has a negative effect also of kind of working you up. And all of that manifests on the screen, very kind of sort of erratic and sort of over the plane, like you're running through a scene. And I think that's what Cindy saw when you did your scene. So you were feeling the power and you were feeling the emotion, but what we were reading was just sort of like a very fast kind of get through the scene type of thing.
Yeah.
So your Achilles heel is that you rush through the scene, and that's what I would want to work with you on. So honestly, take this scene and go through every word and just slow it down. And it's going to seem really dumb to you, but it's going to help you. I promise it's going to help you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah, no worries. We'll do it again when we have a chance. All right, let's go to Monique. We've got 9 minutes left. Let's see what we can do.
Okay. So the scene for this, well, the setting, it's Issa Rae. She's in a club and she's pretending like she's trying to pick up a guy. But what she's doing, she's actually talking in a mirror. She's like sitting at the bar. She's talking in a mirror. And she's just like practicing these really cheesy pickup lines.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I pulled up some like YouTube background club music. Do you think that will help?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all. So we don't worry about props. We don't worry about costumes. We don't worry about anything other than the character.
Okay. So she's just vibing to the music and she's talking to herself. And no, you look good too. No, I'm serious. You look good. You look good. For real. Almost as good as me. I have a couch at home and it has your name on it. It has our name on it. What's your name? You look so good. I could just eat you up. And I'm hungry too. Stop it. You're so funny. No, you started flirting with me first. Come on. Okay, no, for real. You started it and I'm gonna finish it. No, for real. So stop it. Okay. Well, how about we stop moving these lips and we move these lips. Scene.
That's funny. Okay, so let's start with eyeline. We're going to make your eyeline where you're looking right now, which is right at the camera.
Okay.
Right. And setting aside what was in the show and how it was shot. What is it that you're seeing? What is your character seeing?
She's seeing her reflection in the mirror.
Exactly. Okay, cool. So obviously you know what you look like, right? And you know, I'm sure that probably all of us have looked in the mirror at some point in our lives and kind of talked to ourselves, right? And if you haven't, well, then you're weird, not us. But you know, so you look in the mirror, you're just like, oh, you're looking good, right? You know, so it's that kind of a moment. So put that kind of life into it. How would Monique say these lines to herself if she was joking? That being said, there are about 4 different, there are transitions. Transition is where there's a change from the mood, the feeling, or the topic or action that's happening in the scene, right?
Okay.
But they're not obvious. So literally, like she says the first thing, and then it's like, okay, she resets, and then she comes back and tries again. And that's basically where you were looking at, and then you come over to the other side, right? So when you look to this side, I'm not really able to see what's happening in your face. So I would like for you to use the eye line. Okay, let me see if let's see if you guys can pick up on what I'm trying to do. So the camera for me is right there. I'm pointing right at y'all, right? So this is one side of the camera, right? There's the camera. This is the other side of the camera, right? So can you find your camera for me and look right into it? Okay, so now look to the left of the camera, whatever your left is. Yeah, Good. Yeah, that's too far. Bring it in. Bring it in. Okay.
So you can
right
do the
there.
arm thing you told us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
the arm
remember,
thing to
yeah. So
keep-
you do a V. Joshua,
okay.
and yeah, this is another thing that you guys are gonna, thanks, Mike, that you guys are gonna do in class. You make a V as you're facing the camera, right? Directly to the camera. So you want to
Okay.
try to keep your, where you look pretty much within these two, within your arms, the area of your arms, because we can see your eyes. If you look past your arms, look past your, bring the V in a little bit more, Monique, a little more. Okay, now look, now open it up a little bit more. Sorry. There you go, right there. Look
Okay.
past your, look past that arm. See how we lose our eyes,
Oh.
y'all?
Yeah.
See, Zoom
Okay.
comes in really handy. Okay, now look at the camera. Okay, now look, just look within the space of that V, side to side. You can turn your head.
Oh.
Turn your head. Yeah, there you go. Okay, side to side. Do y'all see how, as long as she keeps it within there, we can still see kind of what's happening in her eyes. Look to the other side. Do it one more time.
Fatigue
Look to
was
the other
kicking
side. Look to the other side. There you go. You're getting tired. Sorry. Okay, come back. You put your arms down. Thank you.
All right.
That is a general guideline, and I teach everybody that in class when we're in person, and make it V. And basically, you're going to try to keep your eye line here as much as possible so that we can still see what's going on. Look at Yeti's doing it, so we can still see. That's good. That whatever you did there, it works a lot better. Let's keep that.
Okay, I put a book under the computer.
Okay, cool. So, you know, talk to deliver each line within this space for me.
Okay.
Right. So, you know, if you're going to turn your head, you can turn your eyes with it, turn your head. So it's at, what's the very first line, babe?
It's hold on, I'm doing this off of memorization.
Good.
It's no, you look good. No, you
So is
look
it-
good too.
No, you look good. No, you look good. Da, 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 whatever. Okay, stop. And then she resets, and then she comes back, and then she's like, whatever, da da da. Let's
She's
stop.
saying you have the couch with her name on it, his name.
Right.
On it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just kind of, she's role playing. She's role
Mhm.
playing. So let's just see you kind of do that and have fun with it.
Okay.
And this is your mirror.
Okay. No, you look good too. I'm serious. You look good. You look good. Oh, almost as good as me. No, almost. I have a couch with your name on it. With our name on it. What's your name? I could just eat you up. And I'm hungry too. No, stop it. Stop. No, seriously, you started flirting with me first. I was here minding my business, and you came over here and you started flirting with me first. But no, you started it, but I'm gonna finish it. Seriously, I'm gonna finish it. You're just so funny. Well, no. Okay, well, here, you put your number in my phone and I'll give you a call in the morning. Deal? Deal. See.
Okay. All right. So let's see. You got, so the lines, let's see, I'm trying to picture as you're kind of doing the scene, I'm picturing the scene. So for those of you that are new, I don't think I mentioned this to Lydia either, but the other guys have heard me say this before. Every single time that anybody does a scene in class, doesn't matter whose it is, the minute that y'all start talking, you know, saying the dialogue, there's a camera, or there's a camera in my brain that immediately starts filming the scene. And for whatever reason, I visualize everything. Nick and Mike and Yeti have, I'm sure on multiple occasions I've turned to them and I said, okay, what are you picturing? Because this is what I'm picturing, right? That should happen for everybody. That should happen for everybody. As actors, that should happen for all of us. It's no different than when you pick up a book and you start to read, right? And as you're reading, your mind is creating that world, that imaginary world, right? That is our reference point whenever we start to create the character. So for you, like when I ask, what are you seeing? Obviously, you're looking at your reflection in the mirror, right? But outside of that, if you were observing yourself doing it, for some reason, I see you at the corner of a bar. It's a seedy bar for some reason.